Part 70. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 692. Shalan and Yanhua stood in the open space and looked at the soldiers with serious expressions. This is the third time these soldiers have trained. Fortunately, no soldier has quit. Even though these 2 days of training were very tiring, they all persisted. Moreover, everyone became more and more courageous as they got frustrated, and no one was willing to admit defeat. It was like a competition. This scene is also what the horned lady and the cat-eared lady are happy to see. It is a good thing to be motivated and willing to work hard. Only such a person can truly become a soldier, and only such a person can protect the safety of the tribe. Did you see it? Their efforts are no worse than ours. Shalan sighed. When the cat-eared girl saw these people, it was as if she saw herself. She was also so diligent at that time. She only knew how to train every day, and once she started training, she would work very hard, even if her strength at the time was not as good as others. See, this team of soldiers will definitely be of great help to the tribe in the future. Yanhua also sighed. The diligence of this group of people is obvious to all. The training volume in these 3 days has been very strong, so strong that even the soldiers will feel very tired. Ah! Ha! Ah! The soldiers were roaring impassionedly, because it was physical work, and they had to roar to feel comfortable. Only when you really roar can you continue with the next step of training. It is always bad to hold your breath. Today's training will be a bit tiring. Do you think anyone will quit today? Yanhua asked suddenly. The main training today is the legs. It needs to strengthen the leg muscles and endurance. This is a very painful training. Leg training is the most uncomfortable part. Many people call leg training day a devil's day. Everyone avoids it. This training is really scary. Once you finish training your legs, you will be unable to walk for 8 or 9 days. The soreness is simply too sore, which is precisely because in this way, it is possible for someone to quit. I don't know about this. Judging from the way they trained before, it doesn't look like they will quit. Shat. Lan crossed her arms and continued, but this leg training is really uncomfortable, so it's hard to say. The cat-eared girl is not very sure. Today's training is torturing people's minds after all. Those people are ordinary people after all. Whether they can persist is unknown, but she also wants to see it. If this group of people can't hold on, more people will quit by then, Yanhua said. Because as long as one person can't hold on and speaks first, some people who are still wavering will also follow. This is what the horned lady doesn't want to see. This is the reason why the whole body can be affected by a single move. Yes, all those people will follow the trend and quit, and no one wants to be the first. Shalan nodded. I'll watch from here. You go see if Wu can help. Yanhua waved her hands. Cat-eared girl is a witch of witches, so she naturally has a lot to do. Okay, let me first count the number of those birds. They have all flown over from the sea fish tribe. Shalan said softly. The birds the cat-eared lady mentioned were the birds that were used as carrier pigeons before, and they all flew back one after another today. She wanted to make an inventory in time to see which bird was more suitable as a carrier pigeon, and finally we also need to capture a large number of these birds and raise them. Go quickly, I'll go find you when I'm done here. Yanhua smiled slightly. Shalan nodded and turned around to leave. As he left, he turned back every step of the way to see how the soldiers were training. Tap tap tap. The cat-eared girl came to the place where the birds were raised. That place was in the tribe and was originally planned to be set up next to the sheep pen and the cattle pen. But after thinking about it, I realized that these two places are outside the tribe, and it is very unsafe for homing pigeons to be kept outside. For example, if a homing pigeon flew back from another place and landed outside the tribe and was accidentally captured, the information could easily be leaked. Shalan returned to Yong'an building after counting the number of birds, still holding a small book in her hand. This small book is made of wolf's tail papyrus and is specially used for her to register some things. Of course, it is only used to register some data. Cat-eared girls are not that literate. However, numbers can be remembered very quickly. This book is perfect for registering some data. Woo, all those birds have flown back today, Shalan said as soon as he entered the door. Subai stopped his quill, raised his head and asked, "What's the result? Which bird is more suitable?" After such a long period of breeding, we can finally see the results. There are 4 kinds of birds among these birds. The most suitable bird to be a homing pigeon is the pink-billed silver finch. Shalan handed the book over and continued, "The number above is the number of times various birds have flown back." Bai took the book and started flipping through it, asking, "The other birds don't fly back very frequently, do they?" "There are also some flying back, but the total number of those 3 birds is not as good as the pink-billed silver finch," Shalan explained. "Yes, this bird has good data and is really suitable for conveying information." Subai closed the book with satisfaction. The data in the book was clear at a glance. Some other types of birds also flew back. But they were very few. If 100 were raised, only 7 or 8 would fly back. This data, it is really too bleak, but the pink-billed silver finch is different. The success rate of flying back is 90%. This success rate is really surprising. When it comes time to convey the message, just release more birds come back. There will always be a few who can fly back. You can only do this in the early stage. You can slowly improve it in the later stage. Why don't you use your witchcraft to cast witchcraft on these birds?" Shalan asked doubtfully. "The cat-eared lady thinks that if she uses witchcraft, these birds will be more obedient, and traveling between the 2 places will not be a problem. Of course you can use witchcraft now, but what about in the future? When we rule more tribes and have more and more people?" Subai paused and continued to ask, "What should we do at this time? Sometimes I can't go that far and don't have that much energy to perform witchcraft on these birds." He has already thought of this, but he still wants to rely on artificial breeding to make these birds suitable for use as homing pigeons. If there are more and more tribes under his banner in the future, he can let them raise homing pigeons on their own. There is no need to wait for anything. Practicing witchcraft on your own is not a long-term solution. "So that's it, I get it." Shalan nodded. "Let people start catching these birds in large numbers and raise them all," Subai ordered. "Yes." Shalan responded immediately. "Please update for support and customization. I was a village chief in a primitive society." Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 693. Woo, raising so many birds may require a lot of food, Shalan said. "It's okay, they just eat vegetables, millet, and some small bugs, which are plenty." Bai picked up the teacup and continued, "Painazidum, millet and seeds of other plants are all fine. The food used to raise birds is the simplest. It does not require a lot of meat like raising beasts. I know, I will send people to catch the pink-billed silver finches in the next 2 days." Shalan nodded. "Let them catch them easily and don't get injured, otherwise they won't be able to feed them," Subai warned. "Clear." Shalan responded. "How is the training going for the soldiers? Have you trained several times?" Subai continued to ask. "Yes, Wu, today is the 4th training, and today's training will be more difficult." Lan subconsciously looked out the window and continued, "I wonder if anyone will quit after today's training. Are those people carefully selected? They all want to become warriors, right? These people should not quit easily." Subai was very optimistic about them. "At that time, I heard the cat-eared lady say that these people did not become warriors at that time, and everyone was very upset. Now that they have been given the opportunity, they will naturally cherish it and will not give up just because of a little fatigue." Shrink back. Ahua will be back later. She should know if anyone has quit. Shalan said. Well, let's wait and see. Subai nodded. Walong is still continuing to improve the ship, I believe we will see it soon. Shalan comforted. Because when I went to see the boat 2 days ago, I was told that it would be ready to launch after a while. But after the inspection, various problems were found, and now they are being improved urgently. Naturally, I was a little disappointed at the time. I thought I was going to see the boats being launched. Well, good things need to be polished slowly, so let's go and take a look when the time comes, Subai said lightly. He specifically told the other party to take his time. The boat must be particularly safe, otherwise it will be easy to get shipwrecked. The key point is that there are many beasts and ferocious beasts in the river, and the boats must be built to be particularly strong. Only then. I've already asked someone to tell him not to be anxious. This ship must be built securely. Shalan said immediately. Well done, the hunting team will be back soon, right? Subai asked. We can arrive this afternoon or tomorrow morning. Shalan nodded. There is no need to go back this time. I will let someone count the number of prey brought back, Subai ordered. Woo, I know how to do it, don't worry, but who should be arranged to deliver the food? Shalan asked. Let Kinjian go, Kangxi needs a good rest, and by the way, let Kinjian stay in the sea fish tribe. Subai thought about it. Woo, why did you let Uncle Kinjian stay there? We still have soldiers to train here. Shalan asked doubtfully. Subai took a sip of tea and explained, our tribe already has many warriors, and there are many people who train them, including Shahong, Kangxi, etc., but there is no one from the Haiu tribe. Woo, but the Haiu tribe doesn't have city-slaying warriors or reserve warriors, so there are only a few of our warriors there. Shat. Lan tilted her head and continued to ask, I wonder who Wu Rang Uncle Kinjian will train over there. I want to train a team of soldiers there, so that we can also protect the Haiu tribe. It's not the same thing if our people stay there for a long time. Subai put down the teacup and continued, with the foundation of becoming a soldier, the awakening ceremony in the coming year can also awaken more warriors. It turns out that Wu wanted to help the Haiu tribe, but next year Wu would have to go to the Haiu tribe for an awakening ceremony. Shalan nodded thoughtfully. It's not difficult to hold an awakening ceremony. The difficulty is just in selecting the candidates. There may not necessarily be so many qualified people, Subai said solemnly. He could also imagine that most of the qualified people were from the sea insect tribe, because after they invaded the sea fish tribe, it would be impossible to keep the strong men alive. This would not be conducive to their control of the sea fish tribe. Naturally, the rest are some weak ones. I feel that most of the qualified people will be members of the sea worm tribe, and I am worried that they will resist again. Shalan worriedly said. Choose first, and then look at the results after the selection is completed. They are just soldiers anyway, and they cannot defeat warriors, Subai said lightly. Yes, but Wu, should we send some soldiers to garrison the sea fish tribe? Shalan asked. Subai blinked his black eyes and thought, this is what it should be. I will look at the candidates and then go to the sea fish tribe with Qingyan. Now that he is in charge of 2 tribes, instead of just one Yanlong tribe, there are naturally more things to think about. It can be said that every move now is related to the safety of the 2 tribes, and he must be cautious and cautious. Wu, if our tribe leaves too many warriors, will it be bad for our tribe? Shalan worriedly said. The number of warriors we have awakened now is pretty good. More warriors will be awakened next year. We only send a few people out, which will have little impact on our tribe. Subai raised his head and continued, we just got the sea fish tribe, we can't let it be taken away by others again, and the seaside is also very important to us. Since ancient times, cities near the sea and rivers have developed very well. It just so happens that a small tribe has now been developed and it is slowly growing. It is also an interesting thing. Now there are 5 warriors in the Haiu tribe. How many more warriors does Wu have to exclude? Shalan asked curiously. I want to send 5 more totem warriors and 10 reserve warriors. It shouldn't be too difficult to protect the sea fish tribe in a short period of time, Sudbai said. Now the Yanlong tribe is the center of gravity. We can't transfer a large number of warriors away at once. I know, after the soldiers are selected for training, the pressure on the soldiers will be less. Shalan understood a lot. When the training of our soldiers takes shape, our tribe can also send some soldiers over to consolidate the position of the sea fish tribe, Sudbai continued. He is very careful every step he takes now, and he is very afraid that his steps are too big. Do we want them to bring some weapons over there? If there were recurve bows and the like, maybe it would not be very difficult to protect the fish tribe. Shalan asked curiously. Of course, this is a must, Sudbai nodded. Second update, please support and customize. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 694. Hula La. A boat was pushed into the river. The boat was built quite stylishly. Wu, I have thoroughly researched the ship in the past few days, and there will definitely be no problems, Long said seriously. His expression was extremely serious. He was already very embarrassed after his failure last time. This time, his face was more proud, for nothing else, because the boat had been launched. Sudbai stood on the board of the ship. He said with great satisfaction, not bad, it was changed in a short time. He glanced around the ship, wanting to see the structure and all the details of the ship. The fact that this ship can be made like this is already very impressive, and it is very similar to the ships on the Earth in every aspect. Although there is no way to make it exactly the same. It is already amazing to be able to achieve 8 images. This ship is very good, whether it is the ship's planks, masts, or the environment for people inside. Wu, these are all due to the drawings you gave me. I just presented this ship according to the content on the drawings. Long was particularly excited. He calmed down and continued, I don't have much credit. When he saw the drawings, he was determined to make the ship, even though this was his first attempt. It took a lot of time, and a lot of materials were wasted. Fortunately, it was finally made. If it weren't for your practical work, it would be useless for me to have this drawing. Sudbai saw that the other party was a little humble. Being able to build a ship in the primitive era is indeed a very powerful thing. Even if you have the blueprints are just help in times of need. The real icing on the cake is Long's wisdom. Wu, is there anything else you need me to make? I will definitely make it, Long said seriously. He was instantly encouraged. He was full of confidence and wanted to do more for the tribe. Let me take a look at the inside of this ship while you rest for a while, Sudbai said. Wu, this ship is really beautiful. Yu Ying kept tugging on Sudbai's clothes. When Fox-eared Lady heard that she was coming to visit the ship, she was so happy. She had also seen the drawings at that time and knew the magic of this thing. It is something that can make people stand on the water without falling over. She has never had a good look at this big river, let alone the river above. But she was a little scared after getting on the boat, and she was very worried about what would happen to the boat. The problem is that he has been following Sudbai and dare not leave. This ship looks so big. Is it really unsinkable? Shalan stood next to the fence. The cat-eared girl kept looking down carefully, for fear that the boat would sink. You must know that there are many ferocious beasts and beasts under this river. If it sinks, it means death. I think it won't sink. This boat is made of wood, and the wood can float on the river, Yanhua said immediately. The Horn Lady was different. She was not afraid at all. Instead, She was running around on the board. It was as if she was on land. It had no impact on her at all, but she was happy. Very. It won't sink, don't worry, the wood is very buoyant, not to mention the ship's structure is very good. Subai comforted him. He was also worried that the ship might sink at first. It was the first time he built a ship, but the result was still ideal. Wu, what can this ship be used for? Yu Ying asked timidly. This ship is of great use, it can be used not only to carry goods, but also to travel to other tribes. Subai smiled slightly. Wu, I'm worried that wild beasts or ferocious beasts in the river will attack this ship, Shalan said worriedly. This is what the cat-eared lady is most worried about. In addition to whether the ship will sink, the second is the threat of wild beasts and ferocious beasts. Most likely not. This ship is very large, and if it suddenly floats on the river, it will also make those ferocious beasts and beasts afraid. Subai blinked his black eyes and continued, but as a precaution, some plants with a strong smell can be tied next to the hull to prevent the beasts from getting close. Got it, I'll let someone arrange it. Shalan said immediately. Let's take a look inside. Subai walked in the front first. Tap tap tap. They stepped inside, and everyone's eyes widened at the spacious environment inside. The main purpose of this ship is to carry people, so the internal space will be very large. Not only that, there is even cargo space. This ship can also be used to carry goods and trade with other tribes. In addition to the relatively spacious deck, there are many tables and chairs inside for people to sit on. It's just that in order to accommodate more people, the table is very, very small, and the most used are chairs. 4 chairs surround a table. This 30-meter-long ship can carry more than 50 people in total, which is considered to have a relatively large carrying capacity. It was originally designed to carry hundreds of people, but space had to be reserved for placing goods. Wow, it's so spacious in here, Yu Ying sighed, but she didn't dare to let go. It will definitely be able to seat a lot of people, and then you won't have to walk through the forest to go to other tribes. Yanhua glanced around. It's not winter now, there's no ice on the river, and they can't use the ice sledge. I wonder how long it will take to take the boat? Shalan suddenly asked. I don't know this at all, I need someone to test it, Subai said lightly. Traveling by water is definitely faster than traveling by land. The most important thing is that it is easy to carry cargo. There is no need for everyone to carry cargo forward, which is cumbersome and dangerous. If there are wild animals nearby, if they rush out, those people will not have time to react. But it is different when taking a boat. The goods are all placed in the cabin, people just need to pay attention to the problems on the river. Wu, after we get off the boat, I will have someone test it? Shalan said immediately. Well, all tribes near the river should test it, and eventually go to the seaside if they have time, Subai ordered. After all, you can't rely on hot air balloons to go to the beach, because hot air balloons can't fly due to weather problems. If it doesn't take too long for the boat to go to the sea, taking the water route is also a better choice and can carry a lot people. Yes, Wu, do you want the soldiers to test it? Shalan asked. Of course, what if a wild animal breaks out of the river? We still have to let the soldiers go, Subai ordered. Then I'll arrange a few people. I can't leave too many people at once. Shalan said immediately. Subai nodded lightly and said, just look at the arrangements. Please update for support and customization. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 695. Wow! The boat has been parked on the river, very smooth and without any bumps. Yu Ying was still very nervous and kept following Subai closely, not daring to leave immediately. Even though she was in the cabin now, Fox-eared Girl was still worried about whether the ship would sink. In addition, are you also worried about whether there will be attacks by wild animals? All in all, there are all kinds of worries. Don't be afraid, I'm here. Sudbai grabbed the other person's hand tightly. Just now, he just let the fox-eared girl hold the corner of his clothes, and now he wants to give the other person more peace of mind. She was very timid originally, but now she is very scared on the river. Normal. Yes, which Yu Ying felt a lot more relieved in an instant. The pink fox tail that was originally hanging down gradually became normal and no longer looked timid. Woo, it looks so beautiful inside. It's the first time I've seen this kind of decoration. Yanhua sighed. Niojiao Niang was particularly excited and kept running around in the cabin, observing the surrounding environment. If you like it, you can take this boat next time you go to Hiu tribe, Sudbai said gently. Woo, can I go out with this ship to test the time? Yanhua kept blinking her red eyes. Niojiao Niang looked very hopeful, as if her eyes were shining with anticipation. Ha ha ha, Sudbai smiled heartily, feeling that the other person's eyes were shining, and continued, you like? Yes, I will arrange my own affairs and follow the boat out. Yanhua said seriously. Although she can follow him out, she still has to do the work that needs to be done. Very good, Sudbai said gently. Shalan looked at the tables and chairs and sighed. These tables and chairs look small, but they are long and can seat many people. Yes, so that the ship can carry a lot of people, Sudbai nodded. This is the characteristic of this ship. It is mainly used to carry people. If you want to carry goods, you need to make a special ship to carry goods. Making a ship to carry goods is simpler than making a ship to carry people waiting for me. There are many, and since it has been successful once, it is not difficult to make it again. It turns out to be like this, it's really amazing. Shalan couldn't help but sigh. Woo, how can this ship move forward? Just let it float on the river by itself, Yu Ying said doubtfully. The fox-eared lady was already relieved a lot, but she still held Sudbai's hand tightly. Yes, why didn't I think of this? Wouldn't the ship be too slow if it floated by itself? Yanhua also reacted immediately. Although the boat floats on its own, there is also a rudder to control the direction, and most importantly, there are sails. Sudbai paused and continued, you must know that once the ship has sails, it will be different and it will move very fast. This time the ship was launched into the water for a test run, and the sails were not set up. This is why everyone was confused. Woo, what is a sail? Yu Ying's soft voice sounded. The sail is a large piece of animal skin standing in the middle of the ship. As long as the wind blows, the sail will form a bowl shape and catch the wind that blows over. Bai looked at the river and continued, because the sail is standing in the middle of the boat, and the boat is on the river, there will be no way to borrow force, so the boat will be carried away by the wind. Because the boat needs to use the force generated by each side of the sail to move in the windward direction. The positive force on the windward side, thrust, and the negative force on the leeward side, pull, combine to form a resultant force. Both forces are acts in the same direction, so some ships need sails. So that's it, but what does the sail look like? Yu Ying asked curiously. Woo, can you take us to see the sails? Yanhua said curiously. She was very interested in listening to it just now. She felt that this ship was really amazing. Of course, after we finished reading this, we went out to look at the sails and sailed for a short while. Sudbai nodded. Although there is no big problem for the boat to stand on the river, I still want to see what it looks like when moving forward. In this way, we can more intuitively see if there are any other hidden things in this bed. Problems can be found and solved as soon as possible. Tap tap tap. Sudbai and others stayed in the cabin for a long time, checking the seats and storage functions, as well as the rudder to control the ship, the anchor hanging next to the hull, and some life-saving tools. These life-saving tools are very simple to make, just pieces of wood, all tied to the side of the hull. Whenever someone falls into the water, this piece of wood tied with vines will be thrown down. He asked people to put up the sails and let the ship move forward for a while. Sudbai ordered. Yes, wrong, immediately asked the apprentices to do it. These apprentices had been studying beside him for a long time, and it was not difficult to raise the sail. After a while of operation, the sail was erected by several people. This large piece of sail was made of, it is sewn from animal skin. If you use linen, it will be damaged too easily. Using animal skin will be stronger and will not crack easily even in a big storm. Is this the sail? It's really a big piece. Yu Ying raised her head and sighed. It was the first time for Fox-eared Girl to see such a thing. The structure of the entire ship felt very magical. It was just like a horn on the river. This horn also has a large piece of animal skin on it. The larger the sail, the larger the force-bearing area, so the ship will move faster, Subai explained. It's really amazing, so big and beautiful. Yanhua also sighed. Niojiao Niang was completely impressed by this 30-meter ship. She liked it very much. She liked it very much. Wu, you are so smart, we would never have thought of this. Shalan said in shock. The cat-eared girl was so impressed that she was simply a creation of God. How could an ordinary person have thought of this and be so thoughtful? Every aspect, no matter the size or the details, is exquisite. How much wisdom does it take to achieve this? These will take a long time to be studied, and our tribe can be said to be ahead of other tribes, Subai said with a smile. The development of ships is naturally a long history. At least it was impossible to appear in the primitive era. The most common ones are only wooden rafts, which will take thousands of years to mature. After all, a sailboat is a ship that uses wind power to move forward. It is an ancient water vehicle after boats and rafts. It has a history of more than 5,000 years on the earth. The girls were all surprised and speechless. Second update, please support and customize. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 696. It rained lightly just now, and the air instantly became a lot fresher. Looking around, the endless virgin forest has become green, as if the green will overflow at any time. It is full of vitality and makes people feel very comfortable after seeing it. The rain this time is not like that in the rainy season. It rained non-stop, but this time it only rained for about an hour and then stopped. The people who were heading towards the Yanlong tribe were delayed for a while because of the rain. Now, everyone began to pack their bags again and continued to move towards the direction of the Yanlong tribe. This group of people is from the Daihu tribe, and their location is further away than the Green Vine tribe. No, it was a few days later than the Green Vine tribe before they started to approach the Yanlong tribe. It took 4 or 5 days to walk. The Daihu tribe is also a medium-sized tribe, with about the same number of people as the Green Vine tribe, and the number of warriors is about 300 to 400. Come on, it looks dark, and no one knows if the next rain will come again soon, Uni urged. She is the daughter of the chief of the Daihu tribe. My son, at 1.7 meters tall, he looks tall among girls. Her blue hair and blue eyes are very beautiful, her nose is delicate and small, and her eyebrows are curved and high. The overall impression is that of a gentle and virtuous girl, especially with such a height and graceful figure. This feature is even more prominent. But the most eye-catching thing is the pair of tiger ears and the long tiger tail. I've asked them to hurry up, Fujiwara responded immediately. He is also a member of the Earth Tiger tribe. He is an intermediate totem warrior, specially sent to send uni to each other. He is about 1.8 meters tall, and the animal skins on his body are very rough, and his appearance is even more. In this way, the characteristics of the body are also tiger ears and tiger tail. It makes people a little scared when they look at it. This is why the Daihu tribe wants to send him out. Thinking that Uni's temperament alone will definitely anger a lot of people, no matter what, let someone protect her. Only then can she be allowed to indulge as much as she likes, and can also make her feel happier when she comes out this time. I don't know how long it will take, Everyone says that tribe is very good, but who knows if it's true. Uni kept looking at the front of the forest. She didn't want to come originally, but her father forced her to go out. She said that she had just awakened as a totem warrior and she must go out to see it. What's more, this tribe is very good, so she didn't want to go out. It would be a pity to take a look and come back in exchange for something. We'll probably arrive in the afternoon, so we just need to hurry up. Ci immediately said. She is a good friend of Yi and a totem warrior. She asked to follow her this time. Ci has short black hair, and her yellow eyes are very different from her wheat-colored complexion. Her facial features are not very good either. The delicate one has the feeling of the little girl who leads the family, and there is a sense of naughty in it. She is different. She no longer has the characteristics of a tiger-eared girl, but has a purely human appearance, with a pair of sharp points. Just the ears. If the Yanlong tribe is very bad this time, I will never come out of the tribe casually again. It is really troublesome, Uni said coldly. She doesn't like trouble in the first place, and she is even more reluctant to go out this time. If the Yanlong tribe is not as good as expected, she will definitely be very upset about agreeing to come out this time. Shouldn't it? When there is heavy ice and snow, the porcelain they bring out is very beautiful. Ci recalled the appearance of the porcelain and continued, I think the tribe that can make such good things will definitely not be any worse. The girls have begun to imagine the Yanlong tribe, wondering what that tribe will be like. This is what convinced me to come out, just hoping for something better, Uni sighed. The tiger-eared girl just wants to go back to training immediately and stay in her wooden house. Tap tap tap. Everyone continued to move in the direction of the Yanlong tribe. After walking for a few hours, they discovered the people from the Green Vine tribe. Are you going to the Yanlong tribe too? Alu took the lead in saying hello. The girl saw the people of the Daihu tribe from a distance. Their clothes were easy to recognize. All the animal skins they wore were tiger skins, and other decorations were also related to tigers. If you can't recognize someone with such obvious decorations, then there is no need to mix with people from primitive tribes. Most of them look at each other's clothes to identify which tribe they are from. Some people with evil intentions see that they are from small tribes, they will launch an attack to steal the other party's things. If they see that the other party's costume is from a large tribe, they will obediently take a detour. I don't know whether they can steal the other party's things, and they may even be robbed by the other party. Go back. Yes, my father asked me to go to the Yanlong tribe to exchange some things. Uni nodded and continued to ask, have you already been there? The tiger-eared girl saw that everyone was carrying big and small bags, and everyone was smiling happily. It seemed that they had left with a lot of good things, otherwise they wouldn't be smiling so happily. Yeah, we spent 2 days at the Yanlong tribe, and it was really great. Alu was dancing with joy as he spoke. The girl recalled that she was very happy after staying there for 2 days and wished she could stay there for a longer time. Is the Yanlong tribe really good? Ci asked quickly, extremely curious in his heart. If the Yanlong tribe is not good, they will definitely not leave so happily. Have you stayed in the Yanlong tribe for 2 days? So where will you live? In the forest, Uni said in surprise. Can Yanlong be really good? It is the best tribe I have ever seen. Alu smiled and continued, we are all resting in the Yanlong tribe. The girl was very enthusiastic and wanted to sit down with her and have a good chat. She really had too much to say. Are you resting in the Yanlong tribe? How could their tribe let you rest inside? Uni couldn't believe it. Tiger-eared girl still knew that the tribe would not take in others at will, not to mention there are so many people in the Green Vine tribe. Really, they have a very tall stone house there for us people from other tribes to live in, Alu explained. So magical. Uni's green eyes widened and she asked again and again, tell me more about the Yanlong tribe. The tiger-eared girl's curiosity was aroused, and she wanted to know everything about the Yanlong tribe right away. I also want to tell you, but it's getting late, so I can only tell you some things to pay attention to. Alu looked a little regretful. Ah, Uni was obviously disappointed and sighed. Since this is okay, then tell me what to pay attention to. After going to the Yanlong tribe, I need to, Alu said everything in detail. Please update for support and customization. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 698. Sudbai tidied his clothes and got up, signing into the system according to his previous habit. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully signing in. Ding. Congratulations to the host for receiving the intermediate assistance package, Iron Arm. Sudbai's black eyes widened when he heard this. He was still a little sleepy at first, but he suddenly woke up. He paused for a while and asked, is this intermediate assistance? What is an Iron Arm? It's been a while since I've delivered a mid-level package, and now I can say it's a bit of a surprise. Yes, host, this is the mid-level assistance package. This is the package that must be sent out after 1 month of signing in, a cold system voice sounded. So that's it, another month has passed. Sudbai nodded thoughtfully. This was a 1-month-old mid-level aid package that was guaranteed to win. He thought it was randomly issued. Since the last time, there has never been an intermediate level aid package. All mid-level packages were opened. They were some elementary packages. If it weren't for the system prompts, he would have forgotten that it had been a month. Time passed so quickly. System, what is the main function of this Iron Arm? Is that literal? Sudbai asked. Yes, host, it means literally. As the name suggests, your arms become as hard as iron, the system voice sounded again. Sudbai raised his thick black eyebrows slightly and said with satisfaction, this is indeed a good skill. He has thought about what the next intermediate package will be like countless times, but he never thought it would be related to himself. He thought it would be some kind of talent skill, or some better items. Like strengthening himself. Now the skill of strength is the first, he is very satisfied. System, how many times can this skill be used in a day? How long does it last? Will there be any side effects? Sudbai asked 3 questions in succession in his mind. He must understand all the innate skills, such as the duration of use, side effects, number of uses, etc. He can't be clear about what danger he will really encounter when the time comes, because it's not good if you don't know the specific circumstances that lead to injury. There is no limit to the number of uses. The familiarization time is 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, it will take another half an hour to continue using it without any side effects. The system explained it word for word, but the voice was still very cold and mechanical. It's good that there is no limit on the number of uses, but the interval is a bit long. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with it. Sudbai nodded with satisfaction. This time interval issue is indeed a big problem. Every time you use it, you have to wait half an hour before using it again. This means that if you encounter anything, you can only solve it quickly and delay it. It won't be good for him in the long run. Iron, Sudbai shouted softly. He wanted to try the power of this innate skill. After he finished speaking, a grey metallic luster appeared on his 2 originally muscular arms. However, this golden luster was fleeting, as if it's like there's a layer of film on the arm. I don't feel much change, except that my arms are a little stronger, Sudbai murmured to himself. He stretched out his hand and tapped his bicep, only to find that it was surprisingly hard, like a piece of iron. The impact is really similar to that of a piece of iron. Sudbai nodded with satisfaction. He stood up and was about to find something to test. Anyway, there are still 10 minutes left. He wanted to try it and see what it would feel like if he punched a stone. Tap tap tap. He stepped away from Yong'an building, found a very big stone downstairs, and punched it on it. Crackling. The stone originally had only a few slight cracks, but with a burst of noise, the stone was completely broken into powder. In a head-to-head confrontation, power still prevails. Subai shook off the dregs on his arm. He picked up another stone. This time the stone was a pebble, not to mention hard. Bang! There was another sound, and the pebbles were crushed to pieces. It just happened in the blink of an eye. This talent skill is very useful. Subyang took away the sand in his hand. Yuying followed out. She originally wanted to ask Wu what happened, but the scene just now made her dumbfounded. It took her a while to calm down, and she said in shock, "Wu, were you using witchcraft just now?" The fox-eared lady didn't know how to explain the scene she just saw. She could only link it to witchcraft. Why hadn't she seen such a powerful side of witches before? I thought that the most powerful thing about witches was their brains. Although she could see Subai training with crocodile swords and exercising every day, she had never seen Subai showing off his strength. She was a little scared of the scene just now. Even if the soldiers were allowed to do it, there was no way to do it. The pebbles were completely crushed into powder. But in the end, after thinking about it, the witch was a witch. Could the scene just now be caused by witchcraft? Does it scare you? What I just used was indeed witchcraft, Subai said gently. He forgot to explain to Fox-Ear Girl first that the scene just now was indeed a bit incredible. And Fox-Ear Girl is naturally timid, and she has never shown such strength before, so it is inevitable that the other party will feel it. Feel a little scared. So that's it. Let me just say, if a witch can do this, he must have used witchcraft. Yu Ying shook her pink fox tail. But the fox-eared lady was also very impressed. Learning witchcraft is not an easy task. I have never seen a witch use this kind of witchcraft before. It is obvious that this kind of witchcraft is the latest educational. Did that scene just scare you? Subai asked, continuing to pat the dust on his body. When he was pinching the stone and hitting the stone just now, a lot of dust splashed on his body. No, I'm just curious about why the witch came out directly. Yu Ying shook her head quickly. Fox lady didn't dare to say that she was scared just now. Wu Mingming looked so gentle. I just came out to experiment with new witchcraft, but I didn't expect it to be a great success, Subai said softly. Witch, you have become so powerful recently. Not only have you made a lot of witch dominoes, but you have also taken the time to learn new witchcraft. Yu Ying kept blinking her pink eyes and continued to praise. No one else can do this. You are really amazing. Although Fox-Ear Girl was not a witch before, she has heard a lot about witches. She knows that learning witchcraft and making witch dominoes is not an easy task. Ha ha ha, Subai smiled heartily and said, this way we can protect you and the tribe. He didn't want to say that these were all the system's achievements, otherwise the witches from other tribes might be angry to death. What others have worked hard to learn for most of their lives, I may be able to do it in just a few minutes. Yes, Yu Ying blushed slightly. Please update for support and customization. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 699. The clouds were thick and it looked like it was going to rain again. There was darkness everywhere. If it weren't for the Yanlong tribe's better life now, I'm afraid this kind of weather would make people feel very depressed. Tap tap tap. Yeju's crossbody bag contained a lot of witch dominoes, which were all newly developed by Subai. This time, Lang Er Niang was specially ordered to test these witch dominoes, and she was the only one. She looked extremely serious and did not dare to relax at all, because she had already entered the depths of the forest. There were no other totem warriors on this trip who could help her pay attention to her surroundings. She could only observe the surrounding environment on her own. Yan Jiao scanned the tribe at that time and found that only Yeju was the most suitable. The strength of Lang Er Niang is considered to be among the top among the current Yanlong tribe, so she is the most suitable person to carry out this task. Hope it is successful. Yeju took out the witch dominoes and watched them. She knew that this mission was very dangerous and she would probably die. She couldn't be careless. This was the first time that the wolf-eared girl saw witch dominoes with this appearance. The lines on it are very strange. The whole witch domino feels different from the previous one, there is a different feeling inside. Rustling. Yeju has been jumping from tree trunk to tree trunk, trying to find the most suitable target. She would not choose an overly large beast, let alone a ferocious beast. In short, she must be able to deal with the first target. Only in this way can she fully test the witch dominoes. Of course, you can't choose ones that are too docile, otherwise they will be less afraid of people, and it will be difficult to see the difference even after using witch dominoes. Just choose here. The trees here are more powerful and you can see more. Yeju stood on a relatively tall tree. This tree was much taller than the surrounding trees, especially the branches. It gave her a lot more places to stand. The wolf-eared girl kept scanning her eyes. In the surrounding environment, many wild beasts passed by from time to time, but they were not her targets. Of course, there were also many ferocious beasts that smelled her scent, so she could only hide first. Let it be, Yeju said coldly. The wolf-eared lady found a wolf not far away. It was a low-level hybrid ferocious beast called a two-tailed gray wolf. Maybe she was a half-orc of the wolf tribe, and she moved when she saw the two-tailed gray wolf. Want to give it a try? It's all on you. Yeju held the witch domino in his hand and prepared to get off the tree. Rustling. The wolf-eared girl kept jumping back and forth on the tree with her agile movements, making rustling sounds. The two-tailed gray wolf on the ground also noticed something was wrong. He raised his head and lowered his eyebrows to observe the location of the sound. Snap! Yeju turned over and stayed on the ground, tightening the witch domino in her hand to avoid being seen by the other party. She fiddled with her scattered gray hair and asked softly, "You broke away from the tribe, right? Wolves are social animals and usually move together. Unless there are special circumstances, they will not be alone. There are only two reasons for moving alone. One is being driven out by the pack, and the other is leaving on one's own. There are also reasons for leaving on one's own. There are many ways. Either the female wolf is pregnant and has to leave, because the wolf pack can only give birth to the mate of the alpha wolf. The other female wolves are not allowed to have children, and even if they give birth to children, they will be bitten to death. Otherwise, in addition, it is also possible that the wolf wanted to leave the pack because he couldn't stand what the alpha wolf did. Ouch, ow, ow. The two-tailed gray wolf kept roaring in a low voice, looking straight at the wolf-eared girl with its gray eyes. The body also began to lower slowly. At this moment, it did not dare to move rashly, as it was no longer in the group. This time there was no wolf to help, it had to rely on itself, but it felt that the person in front of it was very different. It might be the pair of wolf ears on the opponent's head and the long gray wolf tail behind him. These characteristics are very similar to mine, and I can feel that the other person has no ill intentions. The two-tailed gray wolf was very cautious at first, even very fierce, but gradually felt the difference and became less fierce. That's right, I didn't mean to hurt you, Yeju nodded. She squatted down and stretched out a hand, but she didn't have the slightest malice. She put the weapons in other people's cars on the ground, and pushed them to the side, out of her reach. The wolf-eared lady believed that the two-tailed gray wolf was not so cautious when seeing the other party, and she could not hold the weapon all the time. She also wanted to make the two-tailed gray wolf feel that she had no ill intentions, so using the witch dominoes would also it's even simpler. Oh oh, oh. The roar of the two-tailed gray wolf was not so hostile, but began to resemble a howl. It seemed that he hadn't had enough to eat for a long time, or that he had been attacked by other ferocious beasts. After seeing the wolf-eared girl, the two-tailed gray wolf suddenly relaxed for some reason. I feel like the other person won't hurt me, and I also feel like the other person can help me. Are you hungry or injured somewhere? Yeju heard the cry, and this was the thought in her mind. Without saying a word, she took out a piece of meat from the animal skin bag she carried with her and threw the piece of dried meat in front of the two-tailed grey wolf. Eat quickly. Seeing that you are much smaller, you must be hungry, right? Yeju became gentle in a rare way. In the past, the wolf-eared girl was very cold. This is the first time I have seen such a gentle look like now. Hum hum. The two-tailed grey wolf put his nose close and sniffed, panting heavily, but finally chose not to eat. Although it is hungry now, it does not dare to eat food given by humans casually. It is better to be cautious. Yeju saw the caution of the two-tailed grey wolf and took out a piece of dried meat without saying anything and started to chew on it. Try to tell the other person that this piece of dried meat is not poisonous and that you have already eaten it, so you can eat it with confidence. Hum hum. The two-tailed grey wolf smelled it again, then began to devour it, turning over the piece of dried meat twice. That's right, do you want to eat again? Yeju took out another piece of dried meat from the bag. Since it just came out today, the dried meat in the bag is still very sufficient. If the test is successful today, he can go back to the tribe immediately. Bot, 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 bot. The two-tailed grey wolf ate the second piece of meat without hesitation, and felt more at ease this time. The wolf's tail also swayed involuntarily. It was obvious that he was slowly accepting the wolf-eared girl. Now you are ready to try witch dominoes, Yeju thought in her heart. She saw all the changes in the two-tailed grey wolf. It's good that she doesn't have to put in more effort this time. Second update, please support and customize. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 700. Yeju blinked her grey eyes, took out the witch tiles from her bag and pointed them at the two-tailed grey wolf. She squeezed the witch domino hard and used the power of the totem to stimulate the witch domino. The witch domino began to emit a faint purple light. Tamed, Yeju said softly. The purple light of the witch bone turned into beams of light and began to slowly approach the two-tailed grey wolf. Ouch! The two-tailed grey wolf was obviously a little frightened, and his body involuntarily stepped back. The grey hair on his body also exploded immediately, and he looked very fierce with his teeth bared. But it was too late, the purple light began to slowly surrounding the two-tailed grey wolf. Like a big net, it completely surrounded the two-tailed grey wolf. Time seemed to stand still at this moment. Oh oh, oh. The two-tailed grey wolf made a deep sound, and the hair that had exploded on its body slowly fell down. The grey eyes are no longer full of murderous intent, but look much softer. It is obvious that the witch domino has been successful. It seems to have been successful. The witch's dominoes are indeed very powerful. Yeju looked at the two-tailed grey wolf with satisfaction. The wolf-eared girl reached out and touched the head of the two-tailed grey wolf to see how the other party would react. Ouch! The two-tailed grey wolf let out a low cry, and then slowly closed its grey eyes, showing its well-behaved and docile side. Really? Yeju nodded with satisfaction and continued experiment a few more times. Only if they all succeed will it be considered a success. The wolf-eared lady tidied her backpack, then stood up and scanned the surroundings, preparing to find the next target. Ouch! The two-tailed grey wolf has been following the wolf-eared girl. After eating just now, he is in good spirits and his steps are particularly light. Tap tap tap. Yeju kept scanning the surroundings, with the weapons in his hands ready in case there was a sneak attack by wild beasts or ferocious beasts. She pressed the two-tailed grey wolf's head with one hand and said, "You have to help me keep an eye on it." The two-tailed grey wolf was not small, standing about 1 meter tall and even 1.5 meters long. However, this size is considered small among the two-tailed grey wolves. The normal adult height can be 2 meters and the length can be 3 or 4 meters. Ouch! The two-tailed grey wolf let out a low cry, indicating that he had received the order. Yeju led the two-tailed grey wolf around the forest for a long time, during which he also conducted many experiments one after another. Fortunately, each experiment was successful and many wild beasts were tamed. There were also many wild beasts behind the wolf-eared lady. There were many wild beasts walking in the forest for one person, and the scene was a bit spectacular. Tap tap tap. After Yeju's experiment was successful, he did not dare to stay any longer and immediately set off to return to the Yanlong tribe. More than 4 hours later, Lang Er Niang returned to the Yanlong tribe, and it was already dark. After receiving permission, she opened the door and walked in, followed by a two-tailed grey wolf. All the other wild beasts were housed. Those that could be raised were raised, and those that could not be raised were killed and eaten. How about it? Is the witch domino experiment still successful? Subai raised his head and asked. He was preparing to make other witch dominoes, and there were a lot of strange materials on the table. The experiment was successful. This two-tailed grey wolf was the first ferocious beast to be tamed. The process went surprisingly smoothly. Yeju will report immediately. Were there any injuries during this taming process? Subai asked. Yeju felt a little warmth in his heart. He shook his head and said, "Wu, I was not injured this time. During this period, I tamed 8 ferocious beasts and beasts." Did all 8 witch dominoes succeed? Subai wanted to know if all the pieces he made were successful. All the witch dominoes were successful, and after the beasts were tamed, there was no sign of disobedience. Yeju said immediately. That's good, but you can't be careless yet, and you need to observe it for a while, Subai said seriously. After all, the talent skills are installed in something similar to a container device. It is not known how much strength it can exert. It is very likely that it can only last for 1 day or 2 or 3 days. After this period of time, it is not yet known whether he can still obey orders. The talent skills given by the system are that as long as they are tamed, they can always obey orders, unless the ferocious beast or wild beast dies. Otherwise, it is impossible to disobey orders, but now it is the true strength of the witch dominoes is unknown. Understand, tomorrow I will have people keep an eye on the beast that I tamed today. If there are no problems after a while, I will report it to the witch, Yeju said immediately. Lang Er Niang also understood this. This is a new witch domino. Naturally, it requires more experiments and observations. If possible, continue to experiment tomorrow. If tomorrow's experiments are successful, it will be almost done, Subai said with a smile. He mainly wanted to be cautious. It's always right to be careful. Details often determine success or failure. Okay, I'll go to the forest for another day tomorrow, Yeju responded without hesitation. Thank you for your hard work today, please go back and rest early, Subai said gently. He understood that this was not a simple job. He must have been exhausted in the forest today. In addition to being anxious about the experiment, he also had to worry about being attacked by ferocious beasts. It's not hard, I'll go down first, Yeju nodded and turned around to leave. Tap tap tap. Woo, that wolf looked so fierce just now, and he was actually able to tame such a ferocious beast, Yu Ying sighed. The fox-eared lady was very scared just now. She kept watching silently from behind, not daring to get too close to the wolf. The main reason was that the wolf's eyes were too scary, and its teeth were also very sharp, and its size, it's a very big one, which makes people shudder. Ha ha ha, Subai took the fox-eared lady's hand and said, don't worry, because the witch dominoes are used. Yes, witch. What is today's witch domino about? Yu Ying asked curiously. The fox-eared lady saw that the table was full of messy materials, all of which she had never seen before. They were obviously new witch dominoes. It is the magic of plant growth, which can make plants grow quickly, Subai explained. Yu Ying nodded thoughtfully and asked Wu, are they the ones before? This can also be made into witch dominoes, right? Of course, this is during an experiment, and these pieces have just been made. Subai handed over the pieces on the table. Is this the new witch domino? Yu Ying sighed. You can experiment with it tomorrow and see if the witch domino is successfully made, Subai said softly. Yu Ying looked at the witch domino curiously and said in surprise, yes, I will try it tomorrow. Subai smiled and said. Please update for support and customization. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 701. The next morning, Yu Ying got up early, made breakfast and left. She was going to visit the farmland, and the most important thing was to experiment with witch dominoes today. The fox-eared girl has several pieces in her hand. These were all obtained last night. Today she wants to test them all. Tap tap tap. Yu Ying walked downstairs, hailed a carriage and went up. It would take more than 40 minutes just to walk out. More than 20 minutes later, she arrived at the gate of the tribe. At this time, there were many people in the farmland. They are all selected mainly to do some farm work. In addition to weeding and caring for crops, they are also responsible for harvesting and planting. When they saw the fox-eared lady, they greeted her warmly. Every day was no exception. Good morning, Miss Yu Ying. Why did today come so quickly? Why don't you take more rest? It'll be fine when we're busy. That's right, we can do this bit of work and we won't let you worry about it. We will definitely do a good job. There have been no problems in the past few days. Words like this kept ringing in the farmland, and everyone was extremely enthusiastic, with smiles on their faces. Even calling Hu Er Niang with the word miss was taught by Hu Er Niang because it is more polite. Of course, this must have been taught by Subai, otherwise she wouldn't know there is such a word. Anyway, in the primitive era, everyone called each other by their first names, except for witches, chiefs, and big bosses. Everyone else is called by their first name, and everyone doesn't think it's anything. Anyway, it's normal. I came here today to have something to do, so you can just be busy with your work, Yu Ying also responded enthusiastically. This scene could not be seen before. The main reason is that the Yanlong tribe is getting better and better, and everyone has the leisure and elegance to abide by these regulations. Yes, the farmers responded in unison. Then they were busy with their own things, either weeding or taking care of the crops. With the plant growth surgery, these crops grew very fast, and someone had to watch them every day. There were also crops every day. It can be said that there is no day that is not busy during the harvest. Especially the weeding work. Once there are weeds, they must be cleaned up in time, otherwise they will absorb nutrients from other crops. However, this is not something that must be done every day. Those weeds do not have plants. Growth technique, growth rate is the normal law. The most important thing to pay attention to is insects. Those who have to turn over and over in the leaves to look for them. Because crops grow very fast, some butterflies or other insects will lay eggs on the leaves. Those big ones, green worms and caterpillars, eat vegetable leaves very quickly. If you are not careful, you will be chewed into a mess. Which one is better to test today? Yu Ying stood in the middle and scanned the surroundings. Looking around, there was a lot of green everywhere, and it was a bit difficult to make a decision for a while. After all, these crops have all used plant growth technology, and it would not be good to use any one. You have to choose one that has never used witchcraft, otherwise you won't see the effect, Yu Ying murmured to herself. The fox-eared lady held her chin with one hand and began to think about which one was more suitable. Do you want to directly select the seeds? This should allow for a better comparison, Yu Ying thought to herself. She was also taking action as she walked into the tribe to find some seeds in the greenhouse. Tap tap tap. The fox-eared lady went into the wooden shed and picked some tomato seeds, then returned to the farmland. She asked someone to find a clearing, and after plowing the land, she sowed the tomato seeds. Plant growth. Yu Ying squeezed the witch domino tightly with one hand and started to use the witch domino according to the operation. This kind of witch domino can be activated without the power of totem, just pinch the witch domino hard. Subai was thinking about playing in the farmland at that time. None of the people working were warriors. If the triggering condition of the witch domino required the power of a totem, then none of the people working in the farmland could trigger it, so they racked their brains to make a trigger that could be triggered without the power of a totem. The witch dominoes. As the words of the fox-eared lady fell, the light blue light began to quietly emanate from the witch dominoes. The light blue light surrounded the tomato seeds and began to slowly penetrate into the ground and wrap around the tomatoes. Seeds. Yu Ying was stunned when she saw this scene, her pink eyes widened in surprise. She held the witch domino tightly with both hands, not daring to relax at all, and murmured to herself, "The witch is really too, it's amazing." The fox-eared lady's thoughts at this moment were the same as those of yesterday's Yeju. All she thought about was praising Subai. The light blue light lasted for more than a minute and then quietly dissipated, and the witch dominoes also changed back to their original form. In order to test a few more pieces, the fox-eared lady took different seeds and planted them in the ground. She wanted to try to see what changes these witch dominoes had on different plants, and whether all the witch dominoes were useful. If these witch dominoes are useful, they will also be of great help to the development of agriculture. Subai does not need to go to the farmland every day to perform plant growth spells. He only needs to use his daily quota to make witch dominoes. Okay, that should be fine, right? See the results tomorrow. Yu Ying clapped her hands. Fox-ear girl happily left the farmland, turned around and went to the flower field to pick a bouquet of flowers and returned to Yong'an building. Tap tap tap. Witch, I have tested all the witch dominoes you gave me last night, and I will see the results tomorrow, Yu Ying said happily. The fox-eared girl's pink foxtail kept swaying. She was so happy doing this kind of experiment. Come and take a rest, you got up so early today, and have breakfast with me. Subai patted the stool. Yu Ying nodded heavily, walked over happily, and asked, "What is Wu busy with today?" Every day she saw Wu was busy with different things, which became the reason why she was curious every day. There are many things to be busy with today. I am thinking about the development of the tribe. Recently, many people from other tribes have come to our tribe. Subai took a bite of the omelette and continued, I have to think about the follow-up development so that the tribe can get better and better. Although the tribe is currently very attractive to other tribes, this is still not enough. If you want to develop in the long term, or if you want to make the tribe better and better, you must think of other things. As a manager of a tribe, you must don't just be satisfied with the present, innovation is the most important thing. Wu, I don't quite understand. Yu Ying was a little confused. She raised her head and looked at Subai dreamingly. Originally, the fox-eared lady didn't quite understand these things. What she did every day was cooking and doing other things. Ha ha ha, Subai rubbed the other person's head and said gently, you will know in the future. Second update, please support and customize. I was a village chief in a primitive society. Author, Big White Monster. Chapter 702. Luzi got up early today. Since she had nothing to do today, she just wanted to go shopping in the big market. The girl has been teaching singing to the furry children in the tribe these days. Not to mention, those furry children love to learn. Once singing lessons begin, the furry children are extremely active and can sit still without any instructions at all. The big market is so busy these days, Luzi sighed. The girl had wanted to go and see her for a long time, but she was too busy to leave. No, she ran out as soon as she got free today. Tap tap tap. After Luzi finished the assigned breakfast, she walked towards the big market with a smile on her face all the way. More than 20 minutes later, The girl arrived at the entrance of the big market and looked up at the long plaque. She has also been learning to read recently, and she still knows these words, which means Yanlong Tribe Big Market. Sure enough, it is better to be literate, Luzha sighed. The girl is wearing a linen skirt today, which was assigned some time ago. Not everyone can be assigned linen. If the girl hadn't been teaching the furry children to sing, she would definitely not have had a share in the skirt made of linen. The eyes of the people on the road were not to mention envious. They all looked directly at the linen skirt on Luzha. People who can be assigned to the linen skirt naturally have a higher status. In addition to this, passers-by also want to belong to your own linen clothes. Even a small piece of linen is good, but even animal skins may not have large pieces, let alone linen. Tap tap tap. Luzha stepped in, her purple eyes scanning the surroundings in surprise. With a long mouth, she sighed, "This place is really great, everything looks so neat." The girl had shock written all over her face. She really liked the internal environment of the big market. She was already very impressed by the orderliness within the Yanlong tribe, but now that she came to the big market, she was even more impressed. The neatness of the big market is extraordinary, and every interface is well organized. The goods placed at the door are also very neat, and the floor is so clean that there is no garbage at all. This is impossible in our tribe. Luzha sighed. The tribe is on the other side of the river, and the quality of life there is definitely not as good as here. Needless to say, there is no need to talk about food and use, and there is no doubt about the environment. If only our tribe could be as good as this, Luzha murmured to herself. The girl walked into the perfume store first and went shopping. This was her primary goal today. When she smelled the perfume, she was a little overwhelmed, and Ishin also wanted to have one of her own. A bottle of perfume. But I couldn't find any dried meat to exchange for it, so I just took a look. It still smells great. Wu is really amazing, Luzha sighed as she put down the perfume. The girl stepped out of the perfume store and had been in it for a long time. Anyway, she didn't change her perfume, and she was delaying others to do so. She didn't dare to stay too long before leaving. Wu said that as long as I work hard in class, I can get what I want, Luzha thought to herself. These words were indeed said by Subai to the girl, in order to encourage everyone to complete their job seriously. Of course, this is definitely not to paint a big cake for them. As long as the work is excellent, it will indeed be possible. Get what everyone wants. I decided that if the witch said that I was qualified, I would definitely say that I wanted perfume, Luzha thought to herself. Tap tap tap. The girl did not stay too long at the door, but immediately went to the next house. Rest time was precious, so she had to hurry up and play. Luzha spent a whole morning shopping in the big market, and left the big market with satisfaction and headed outside. She came to an empty place, cleared her throat, and started singing to her heart's content. Lala, Lala, let us hold our weapons against those ferocious ferocities. Lala, Lala, we must not retreat, we must make those enemies pay the price. Luzha has always been immersed in her own singing. These songs were all sung by her in her original tribe. I have been learning it for a long time since I was a child, and now I am naturally very good at singing it. These songs also attract many people passing by to stop and watch. Everyone was immersed in this beautiful singing, and from time to time someone would praise it. But everyone didn't dare to speak too loudly, for fear of disturbing the girl. Tap tap tap. At the same time, several people in the distance were rushing towards the direction where the girl was singing. They ran very fast, as if they saw something familiar. Those people were from the Daihu tribe. Yi and I ran over quickly with Ci. Are you sure this is your tribe's song? Uni asked as she ran. I'm sure, even if this song is not wrong, I can also sing it. You know it. Ci's face was full of happiness and excitement. Yi and I fiddled with her scattered gray hair and said, I hope it's really from your tribe. I finally heard this kind of singing after so long. I have never heard it before. I am sure it is from our tribe, I said with confidence. A few minutes later, the people from the Daihu tribe came to Luzi, and Yi and I stopped the others behind. She waved her hand to signal Ci to step forward. She saw the person singing and confirmed this. A little bit. Because the singing girl's skin color is the same as C's, both are wheat-colored skin. Maybe the only difference is the hair color and pupil color. By the way, the most important thing is the pair of pointed ears. It's the same. It's really you, Luzi, Ci shouted excitedly. The girl's shout was particularly loud in the crowd, and Luzi immediately stopped singing. Looking after the sound, she felt that the voice was very familiar. When she saw Ci in the crowd, she was stunned. Got it? It turns out you are still alive. After so long, I thought you. Luzi's purple eyes were instantly filled with water mist. It's me, I'm alive. Ci immediately ran over. The two hugged each other happily. This scene shocked the onlookers and left without looking any further. Why are you here? Luzi was the first to ask. I came here with the people from the Daihu tribe, and I joined them, Ci explained. Luzi wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and said, I also joined the Yanlong tribe and now work for them. How are you recently? Where are the tribesmen? How will you be here? Ci asked several questions in a row. Don't get excited, let's have a nice chat, Luzi comforted. Please update for support and customization.